I've never heard a sock sound so fucking unpleasant.
Big.
I don't fucking know how to make socks!
No one's foot is that big. Houston, it's pants.
This is more than just socks!
When they get closer, they realise that it's actually made of pants.
We just can't get the threads right! Back in my day, a good pair of socks.
Could get you from here to Nova Scotia in no time.
That is Project Achilles. Only socks can save us now.
Hello everyone, welcome to Coming This Summer with me, Luke Illingworth. Joining me today we have Ross Lane.
Hello, that's me.
And new boy Jack Ewins.
Hello there.
Hello. You're just new boy today. I don't want people to think new boy is your nickname.
Soon you'll be
my
regular
name.
boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll be same old boy.
And then mediocre boy.
Yeah.
Is he on the bloody show again, boy?
Right. So yeah, so today we kind of just started with a word really, see what we can get out of that. And the word of the day, pickened by Jack, was socks. I don't know why. Did that just pop in your head when you?
Well, there's been lots of talk of Muldoon socks in the Jurassic Park community recently, so they quickly jumped to mind.
Okay.
So,
Always time for the socks.
Yes.
it whipped into action.
All right then. First of all, is the main character a sock, or does the main character have like some kind of evil sock, or his best friend is a sock? We need to figure out our main character. Our main character.
I love that he owns an evil sock.
An evil sock.
I'd say
Yeah,
he's a manufacturer of socks. Is our main character. He owns a sock factory.
Okay.
Yeah, his father owned a sock factory, and like he's struggling to run it, and he has to come up with some amazing kind of new sock.
Well, I was just thinking, what if he falls into the sock making machine, and he becomes socks, and then whoever wears these socks, he can possess.
Well, we backtrack actually. We backtrack a few scenes. He like Ross said, he's struggling to maintain the sock business because people are just frankly they're bored of socks now. Like no one likes to wear socks.
You know what?
Their feet are too hot.
As soon as I get home now, that's the first thing that comes off.
Yeah, it's the socks. And so he decides to make the biggest sock that has ever been seen to try and make it into the Guinness Book of World Records. But he makes it on the same sort of size as a sleeping bag, which you're probably thinking is not that big, and that's his Achilles heel, because he falls into the vat of this big sock and he literally gets engulfed by it, and he gets trapped inside it, and it becomes absorbed around him. It's like it starts to become his outer shell.
He becomes one with the sock.
That's where we're up to.
Okay, cool. Well, I was just thinking the name of his business could be Achilles Heels.
Oh my god!
Because it's foot related, isn't it?
It's Project Achilles.
That's what they call the big sock.
Yeah.
Is Project Achilles off the ground yet? It's not quite big enough.
We just need a few more months in R&D. We've come up with some amazing new fibres. Quite frankly, earth-moving fibres.
We didn't quite take into account the elasticity of a sock this size.
We thought we could play God. That's his inspiration. One day he lies there in bed while his wife is trying to sleep, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry, you'll come up with an idea soon." And he's just like thinking to himself,
he's got his thinking socks on.
He's pulled it over his head. He's just sitting in bed with his thinking sock on.
Thinking socks. They got question marks on them.
Maybe he's found himself in this trouble because the first thing he did after his father passed on and gave the company to his son was a bit too eager, and he right off the bat came up with the dog shit range, where he was like, if you've stepped in dog shit in your socks, he's like, he wanted to make a fragrant range of socks, all based on the idea of accidentally standing in dog shit.
That is his his theme, his go-to.
No one bought him.
No.
He's just like, I just don't understand it. Like, do the kids just not want these kinds of socks these days?
Okay, so is him trying to learn the sock business?
Yeah, he has no idea what to do.
But he needs like a big.
I don't fucking know how to make socks.
He's got one last chance to come up with his the next big thing in socks.
The socks that will blow your socks off.
So is this his last attempt? Is to make a really big one?
That's the only thing that can save the business, is just to make a really big one.
But he wants to try and get in the Guinness Book of Records.
He wants to fit the whole town into this one sock.
Yeah, that's the whole ploy. That's the twist of the film. Is you're like, the audience is expecting, has he done it? Has he made the big sock? And like the whole end sequence is set in this giant, what seems to be a circus tent, and all the town are coming in, and they're like, oh, I wonder when he's going to unveil this sock. And basically, what they don't realise is they've already walked into it. Like that's the entrance of it. They've just walked through the gaping ankle hole of this giant sock.
God, I've never heard a sock sound so fucking unpleasant. A fucking gaping ankle hole.
That's what he calls the big one. That's just like Project Achilles, the gaping ankle hole. I do like what you said, Ross, that the tagline of the film should be, "This coming next summer, this film will blow your socks off."
I mean, there's so many sock things you can do. Suck it to me.
Oh, I really sucked him.
My name's John Socrates.
Yeah, that could be his sidekick scientist in his fucking sock laboratory, Socrates.
Socrates.
Going on with this big sock. It's eating the town, literally.
What have you created? Here we go. I think so. That's the character, and that's his tie to the audience, is that like everyone has struggled at something at one point and wanted to do that, like their fucking parents proud or something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the humanizing aspect of the character.
Yeah,
so
that's his art.
I think we got it.
Exactly.
I think.
But the thing is, we have to now come up with, well, so what makes him go through his arc? He's like struggling to get this off the ground. He's got this idea for this giant sock, the but like, what does he learn in the process? How does he better himself as a sock merchant?
I think it could be he's just going to go back to making plain old socks the old-fashioned way. You know what I mean?
He's come up with many zany socks.
Yeah, you make a big sock, but you've made one of them. if anyone's going to buy them and you want a pair, don't you?
Yeah, where do you go from there?
Yeah, and two, no one's foot is that big.
No matter how much they may want it to be.
Yeah. Or maybe he could then turn that sock into millions of normal sized socks.
Oh no!
And he can now sock the world.
I mean, it could go really crazy, and there's a montage right before the credits, right at the beginning of the film.
Him trying.
You see the government. The government doesn't know what to do with all these piles of socks that have just been like dumped onto landfills. So they ball them up, like all of them, and then they shoot them off into space. and eventually, essentially, this giant sock ball is now turned back to Earth and is heading towards Earth. And how this guy could save the day is he has to build the biggest sock that has to be wrapped over the Earth.
The sock shield.
To pull it out of harm's way.
That is Project Achilles.
That is Project Achilles, yeah. Oh shit! So he's been hired by the government to create a sock big enough to catch. Well, maybe it's not a sock meteor. It's just a meteor.
Oh no! Actually, no. There you go. That's how he gets over his character arc. It is a sock Meteor, but it's specifically made of his dog shit range ones because they were so bad and so odorous that they had to send them up into space. They couldn't get rid of them. So they sent them up into space because they stunk so much. So then they're now coming back to Earth, and everyone's like, "Oh God, no, not those shitty socks again!"
Oh, not again!
Well, I was thinking, what if his goal for this film is to get his dad's respect, you know, and the way that you show that his dad has no respect for him is when he makes these shitty socks. He hates them so much that he fires them into space. Like he spends so much money just to prove a point.
The richest sock merchant in like the entire world.
Maybe he doesn't. So okay, just keep it on the sock theme here. He doesn't fire them into space necessarily with rockets. His dad has this really elasticated range of socks that can be stretched out, and then he pulls them back like a giant catapult and fires them into space with these other socks. It's like literally a visual metaphor for his dad firing his dreams up into space.
Yeah, but then it circles round the moon, and it's coming back.
And then I was thinking, instead of, doesn't really make much sense for him to make like a big sock to put around the Earth. So what if he made a big sock to catch it in front of the Earth? So you could have this really tense scene where the shit sock ball goes into the ankle hole of this giant sock, and it really stretches out, and it gets so close to Earth in this stretched out sock that they can just barely smell it, and then it shoots back out into space even faster and more powerful than his dad's elasticated socks.
Yeah.
There we go.
See, that's it. Not only is he's redeemed himself, he's also surpassed his father's expertise in sock.
Well, maybe the big sock is made from the material of his dad's elasticated socks.
That's what I'm thinking.
He's not letting go of his heritage, but he's also surpassing his father. But still,
maybe that
close to his roots.
That could be another thing, though. Like, then it goes the other way. Like, you know, he needs to listen to his dad. His dad knows what he's doing. He's not an old man that's not cool anymore.
Yeah, he still knows. He knows what's up.
So it's sort of like his dad's old-fashioned ways.
His
old-fashioned ways of making socks, and then there's his ambitious ideas for making socks that no one wants.
Yeah. He's just got sock fads.
Now they're tied together on this project to save the world.
Exactly. Now, I will propose, gentlemen, that we need a villain.
I was just thinking that we need a villain.
We need a villain?
Boy, do we need a villain.
I think he needs someone who's from the government who's trying to steal this sock technology and use it for evil, or it could be a guy who came up with the shit socks before the other guy. Who's that determined that it's a good idea? Who's that determined it's a good idea? He's trying to let the shit socks come back to Earth because he wants to. He's like, do you know how much wealth of shit socks they shoved into space?
Or it could
There's at least $13 billion of socks up there.
It could be a guy that has been working for the business for ages, and he's worked his way all the way up to the top, only to have this guy's son step in and now be the boss of the company, and he's not happy about that.
He's not happy at
all.
all.
He wants him to embarrass himself.
Yeah. I know this is sort of less story, more just visual stuff, but I think the villain should be wearing socks that are like they're individual socks on each foot, but they're pulled all the way up to like where his thigh meets his ass. Like they're pulled all the way up there on each leg, and he doesn't wear any trousers or anything. He's just like walking around these really big socks.
But they're really baggy and they're just a bit horrible. Ooh, it's a bit
well, it's like they're only like smeared with dirt. He doesn't wear shoes on the ends of them. They're like
he insists that if you're making these things, you've got to wear them with pride.
Yeah, he even has he has sock suspenders from where the tops of his thighs are over his shoulders, like freaking what am I thinking?
Like from no, not dungarees. What the fuck are they called? Yeah.
Oh, I can't think of the word.
Yeah, I know. Oh, damn it.
Oh, my God.
What do they call them? Those things that you wear with trousers that hold them up.
Braces.
Braces.
That's
the word. Yeah, so they're so big, like on this villainous character, because Darth Vader has his famous mask and breathing. Well, we've got to have a villain who's iconic visually as that character.
I think this
guy in sock suspenders that are actually like braces.
Well, I think his whole outfit should be made of socks.
Oh yeah, his arms and everything. Like he's just wearing socks on his arms, one on his head.
Yeah, he just cuts the end off.
It's just like a tube that goes over his body.
He wiggles into shot every time he comes into a scene.
Yeah, this guy's like obsessed with socks.
They ask, there's a bit of exposition where they're trying to find out why he's so obsessed with him, and he's just like, no, it's just socks of the future, and he just never elaborates on it any more than that, other than just insisting that socks are the future.
You don't know why.
Yeah. Well,
oh my god, I'm dying.
He feels sorry for socks because they're covered up all the time.
Yeah. No, he wants socks to be loud and proud.
Yeah, they stink. As soon as you put socks on, you put shoes on, don't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you're hiding them.
He feels don't be ashamed of your socks.
Yeah, no shame in wearing socks. That's what he's insistent on.
Yeah, there could be you could go to like his house at one point, and there's like a really weird basement filled with.
It's like
those shit. Like it'd be like what do you call them? Like when you get like Peeping Tom and they take photos of stuff, and it's just it's just zoomed in on people's socks, like people washing their socks or hanging them up.
Yeah, hanging them up on the laundry line.
Yeah.
It's like the idea of like in Donnie Darko when they burn down Patrick Swayze's house and find that like sort of dungeon behind one of the pictures.
It's all,
like that.
It's all sock related.
Exactly like that.
So, but the villain needs a bit more motivation other than just socks of the future. Like that line. I like that line. I think we could use that.
Well, I like...
he needs some sort of motivation. Maybe he had his sights set on this factory for whatever reason.
That's what I was saying. Like he's started from the bottom. He's worked his way all up to the top, but then the guy gets a son, and he inherits the business, and he's jealous.
Yeah, he was supposed to be like the next CEO of the sock business.
Yeah.
Okay. Now he needs a name.
Asockalypse. I like that his name would just be Sock.
Just my name's Sock.
Sock.
John Sock? Is that no? Just Sock.
John.
That's all you need to know. Sums up in 4 letters.
He was so excited about getting about taking over the sock business that he one day just went and renamed himself. That was how dedicated. That was his that was supposed to be his big moment of showing the guy showing the guy's dad how much he was going to take this seriously. How much he was.
He comes up to his dad and goes, "Hey, guess what? I've just so you know, I take this business very seriously. So much so I've changed my name to Sock." And then he shows him the paperwork, and the dad, the Papa Sports Socks, just laughs in his face.
And he's absolutely devastated. He's laughing at him, and he's like,
he whips the socks off his arm.
I'll show you. And then just runs away, never sees him again.
I was just thinking he could get a girlfriend by the end of the film, who's just as obsessed with socks as he is, and he gets her to change her name to Sock, and now they're a pair of socks.
He goes on a date with her, and she's like, "Oh, so what do you do then?" And he's like, "Oh, you don't want to know. It's not cool. I don't care." And then eventually he tells her, and she's like, "What? I think socks are cool too."
No, she pulls up her dress, and her socks are pulled right up to her, like the same as his socks.
And then you have cut to a romantic scene, and he's slipping a sock on, like.
Oh god.
But a really small sports sock, it's like he's rolling it down. Oh my god.
See, now I'm thinking this guy is the good guy, and the son is the bad guy.
Ooh.
Whoa. No, that's a twist.
That maybe the son just doesn't.
But that ruins the whole arc between the father and son using the the big sock to save the world.
I'm quite keen on having the old business partner as the villain. It's classic.
Or I guess just a rival business partner.
That could also because I think he should have been part of the business, and that is why he has such an angry love of socks.
That could come from the fact that like Pilnan said, he didn't know this guy who's been working from the bottom at the company. Maybe he went off and made his own division of a sock company called something like Socks and Socks, and
Sock Tech.
And then he was like, "We're going to buy out your company when you're done." And the dad was like, "Yes, we'll get the paperwork filed." Blah blah blah. And then an illegitimate son came out of nowhere, and he was like, "Oh God, I have a son now, so I'm going to pass it all on to him." And then this guy's like, "No, you promised everything to me." So it's like, so technically, this guy was like another son to this guy, but he wasn't blood related. It was just like they'd worked together for so long in the sock business.
The son he never had. What I was thinking,
the sock he ever never had.
What if the old business partner, if he wanted to do socks and pants, and that's why they fell out, because he really thought they should do pants as well.
It's just too much. You're taking on too much.
So it's not like
nobody wears pants.
It's not like thermals or anything. It's like he had this idea of like pulling one sock all the way up to your thigh, pulling another sock all the way up to your thigh, and then clipping them to your pants that are specially designed to then make socks and pants. It's like, and someone went, "No, there's just they have thermals. That's pretty much what you're describing." And he's like, "No, they have separate entities that become one."
You don't understand.
You just don't
get it, do you?
This is more than just socks.
Maybe we could have a scene where like the villains are all getting together to like, you know, sabotage the son's like building of this Project Achilles, and like they're all gearing up, and you see like the villains, they're all like putting socks over their faces like balaclavas and stuff, and then one of them pulls the sock out and puts a brick in, puts a brick in, and then the main villain goes, "No, we need something more durable," and he pulls the brick out and then puts more socks in, and then they run up to Project Achilles swinging these socks above their heads, like really triumphant music's building up, and it's like, oh God, the villains are gonna finally do it, and when they swing them towards you, just hear a little and nothing happens. Like,
but then they all just like, there's loads of them, they just pounce on one guy, and they just hear like hundreds of these socks just whacking this guy, like absolutely hundreds of them. They're just really
soft, and he's just stood there. He hasn't fallen over. He's just stood there, closing his eyes and blinking. He's like, "Guys, can you stop this? Seriously, stop it."
And they just keep doing it for so long that eventually he succumbs to his sock-related injuries. Yeah, and that's it.
It just cuts. It just cuts from him going, "Hey guys," those sock cuts to the hospital, and he's like in loads of bandages. He's really bad and bruised. They're like, "How long did they say they were beating him for?" 14 hours straight.
And then they think it was the son.
Yes.
He's trying to frame the son.
Because then it's like, the father's like, "You didn't believe in Project Achilles. I knew you didn't from the beginning." And he's like, What are you talking about, Dad? I've always believed in Project Achilles."
It was my Achilles heel.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does this end?
I'm thinking of a sock-based showdown.
Well, I had an idea earlier, but I like the idea of a showdown. But I'll pitch you this idea because it might give you some inspiration. So, like, the big shitball sock goes into the Project Achilles sock out in space that's being held up by space stations, and it like stretches so much, and then you cut to Earth, and the good guy and the villain are like hitting each other in the head with socks in socks, like balled up socks. Like,
they've got them wrapped around their hands like knuckle dusters.
Yeah. And then you see the villain's about to make the final like blow, if you can call it that, and the big shitball just stretches enough into the atmosphere to just stick him to it, and then it pulls the villain out into space. It's stuck to this end of this shit.
it could be like there's something wrong with the Project Achilles, and the son has to, and like for some reason the dad is now too infirm to go and help, so the son has to get blasted into space in a rocket to try and fix Achilles. And as he does, he realizes that it's actually the old business partner who's behind the he's actually in control of the giant sock that's about to hit Earth. And that's when they have a space-based sock fight.
When they get closer, they realize that it's actually made of pants.
Oh yeah. Everything we thought we knew is wrong.
It's pants.
only socks can save us now.
You get the line. Yeah. You get the line. Houston, it's pants. Or something. Like that's like the catchphrase of the film.
Houston.
Houston, oh yeah, pants.
Pants.
Maybe they're controlling the pants ball with, like, they've got rockets, but for some reason the villain wanted to put rockets into socks. So all you can see, like, is millions of socks all over the edges of this thing just really flapping violently because inside each sock is like a rocket. So like
I'm totally
the ankle ends just go.
I'm totally imagining this whole bit of the film is like Gravity, like that same gritty space realism.
Yeah,
like it's just
like
so
no
absurd.
Music.
I was imagining
there's no
the
music.
beginning.
You can barely hear anything.
Yeah,
And it's just like Gravity.
It's just like Gravity at the end, but it's like Mouse Hunt in the cheese factory.
Yeah. I tell you, that's the exact kind of image in my head that I had of the fucking sock factory, just like the fucking
Mouse Hunt, yeah.
Oh. All right.
Okay, so who's playing these parts? So what have we got? We've got the son, the dad, the
girlfriend,
the ex-business partner,
the
government agents,
and the I guess apprentice, maybe. Would he be an apprentice?
Yeah.
The sock. Who's playing? Who's playing the main guy?
I would quite like either Ralph Fiennes or who would be really good as the villain?
Ralph Fiennes
as the villain.
Specific.
Oh yeah, definitely Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, I'm going to say Ralph Fiennes, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout, mate.
I was going to say...
are we going for people who are alive or dead, or could it be anyone, or is it going to be like someone who...
Jack, we're making this film.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit.
Yeah,
are we?
you
Okay.
can't pick a dead person.
All right, I want Sam Neill as the dad.
That's a good
I think he's aged well.
Yeah.
If he's in Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yeah.
I think it's Hunt for the Sock People. Like he can
Jeremy Irons. That's the other person I thought.
Jeremy Irons. He's English as well. This could be a British film.
Yeah.
We got Ralph Fiennes and Jeremy Irons.
I was thinking, which one of those do you reckon would be the better villain? Because that's what I'm thinking.
Oh,
I'd want to say
Voldemort or Scar, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd want to say Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons. He was
the villain in Die Hard 3. I think Ralph Fiennes would probably take it if he, let's say, he agreed to do this. I think he'd take it too seriously. Whereas Jeremy Irons, he would have a bit more like swagger to it.
Yeah, I think Jeremy Irons would bring something of a theatrical ridiculousness to the role.
Yeah.
Yes, which it definitely needs.
Whereas, if it was Ralph Fiennes, he'd be genuinely terrifying.
Yeah, and we don't want that, mate.
No, we don't want to be scared watching a film about socks, really, let's face it. We want to be thrilled.
So the son.
Right, Jeremy Irons is in. We think Sam Neill for the dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, kindly Sam Neill with a big moustache.
No, because he's an arsehole, isn't he? Who turns to be nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I suppose, yeah, because he's rough around the edges, but he's got a soft heart, you know?
Basically, how he is in Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yeah, banging movie.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, we do have a bit of a plot hole in our plot.
We've got a bit of a hole in the sock. What's going on?
Yeah, we've got a bit of a hole
he fired the socks up in the air.
Which is, the son made the shit socks, but how did they turn into a shit pants when they were in space?
Well, I think maybe he said they were going to like eject them into space, but he actually just stole them and turned them into pants.
Or I was thinking maybe you get a bit of a twister scenario here. The shit socks were shit, but the son was told they were shot off into space. But what really happened was they were sold as an idea from the father to the rival company.
Oh, to disguise the smell of farts.
Yeah, exactly. So then he made a range of shit pants that then really didn't sell. So that's why they shot him into space for real.
Yeah.
And that's where the father has to apologise to the son because he made mistakes as well.
Or it could still be socks, but they just find a couple of pants in there, which makes him think there's some foul play.
Some foul play.
Yeah, he walks in on his father in the office at one point, and he's just got pants on his head, and he's like, "Oh, what?
Look at me!"
Takes the pants
Get
off, puts them in the drawer under, puts them in the drawer of the office. And goes,
Okay. So, what about the main guy?
The main guy.
He needs to be a sprightly go-getter.
Sprightly go-getter.
He needs to be like he needs to be whimsical and like and
could be the son of Sam Neill.
Yeah, he should be like that. That just the kid with all the ideas. He's always getting shot down, but he never gives up his dreams.
Right.
Yeah, I was thinking
Pratt?
Michael Cera, but then he's
Chris Pratt.
Well, I think Michael Cera could be the sock.
The sock.
The sock. That could be
There's a
Cera.
sidekick character, an animated CGI sidekick character that's just a sock. It's like,
That's
this
like
is
his
our Project AI.
little pet project.
Yeah, it's like it was a failed experiment because the government deemed it too immoral.
He only ever talks in sock puns.
I am sock.
Let me get into the fray.
Let me suck it to you. See, I'm thinking I'm thinking this is kind of the role for Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, Wahlberg.
I think he's doing Transformers at the moment, so there wouldn't be much of a step down from him.
I don't know, but he just
step up.
It would. Well, definitely. This would certainly give a boost to his career.
Have you seen Transformers 5?
No.
Oh, it's poo.
Is it?
It's simply
it's
to be
awful.
shot into space.
Yeah. Wahlberg?
I'm thinking Mark Wahlberg,
He kind of looks like Sam Neill.
Or maybe we pull someone out of retirement who's a sort of kid actor and we go for a bit of a Macaulay Culkin. Because if you've seen him acting recently, he is fantastic right now.
Yeah?
He's an underdog actor.
I
to come
like
back in a film
Culkin.
like this, be something else.
I like the idea of Culkin.
By the way, it must be noted that we have to write the script for this, holding pens with our feet in socks.
Oh, yeah.
The entire script from start to
It's
finish.
the only way.
Okay, Sam Neill dad. Macaulay Culkin as the... Oh, shit. It's fucking thunder
Macaulay
in here.
Culkin.
I reckon we can
Jeremy
fit Pierce
Irons.
Brosnan in here somewhere.
Brosnan?
I reckon we can fit Brosnan in somewhere.
What could he be?
Well, should we be
could he be
controversial
like the
and have
NASA?
it
He could be like the NASA boss.
Yeah, he could. He could, yeah. No, he could be the government agent who they're liaising with to combat the sock threat.
He could be Socrates. He could be the scientist that is working off to the side, heading project.
He's not. I don't think he's scientist material. He's more all action.
Haven't you seen Dante's Peak, man? Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But I don't know. I think it's
We could be a bit controversial and have Pierce Brosnan play the love interest of the son.
Well, he could. I think we could do.
I'm
sure he'd don some socks rather adequately.
Yeah. Then maybe you shouldn't be living here.
That's when he gets really drunk and then scorns the and then the son scorns him, and it's all really sad.
It's like, instead of when people say I challenge you to a duel and they slap someone with a glove, they slap them with a sock. Really sweaty used sock, they peel it off their foot and then go. There's like moisture just left on their cheek, and then it's like,
he just has to rub it away.
Not your thermals, not today.
It's so hot outside.
Alright then, guys, so there's only one more question. What do we call this film?
Oh, we didn't cast the girlfriend, did we? Was that Pierce Brosnan?
Is there a girlfriend, or was it Pierce Brosnan? Well, I don't know if the girlfriend is like a major character. Wasn't that just something at the end that was quite nice for?
I think he needs a reason to do it apart from just simply like avenging his father.
Maybe it's literally one scene. She comes in, like right at the end. He says like Project Achilles. They're about to catch the big shitball, and the whole climax of the film is about to kick off, and you don't know if he's going to do it or not. And then he's like standing again, but father, I don't know. And his dad's like, well, I believe in you, son. Don't you know what we've just talked about? And then he just looks over to the crowds around him, and there's just a random girl in the audience. She just looks at him and goes, you can do it. And that's it.
And then like a big and
he goes, yes, I can.
Power ballad comes in, and we can build this thing together. That tune comes in.
I can see that. I've got that right in my mind's eye.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't need to cast her. Maybe it's all elusive. Like, because you can make good marketing tactics by having the girlfriend and be progressive completely in one big sock. So you never see who's inside. You can do it.
Right. Oh, then.
Mystery. That'll have people talking for years. Who is inside the sock?
Who is the sock?
Who is the elusive sock?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
what are we going to call this film? I think there's a few. We've had a couple of. There's Project Achilles Hill.
Fray Another Day.
Fray Another Day. Sock It To Me. What's the other one you said, Ross?
I can't remember. What was the other one?
Sock Off.
Fuck, I can't remember.
Sock Off.
Sock Off.
Okay, well.
I'm trying to look up sock brands.
What do you call it when the world's about to end? What is that called? Armageddon.
Sockageddon.
Sockageddon.
There's got to be a name for it. None of these have just got that.
Well, we'll definitely be getting sponsorship from a lot of sock brands. So we just need to think of
something like a word that means destroying something, but then see if we can get the word sock in there. Asockalypse?
Yeah, Asockalypse. There we go. We got it. That is it. That's the one.
Yeah.
Absolutely
now.
Sorted.
Asockalypse now. Right.
There we go.
Yeah, I just like Asockalypse.
Yeah, I'm. That's another vote for Asockalypse from me.
Asockalypse.
Okay. Jack, are you in?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Well, okay.
Just want to point out that when you said let's name this thing, I'm literally sitting right by my DVD shelf, so I just turned and looked at the DVDs, and one of the first ones I looked at, it said The Incredible Shrinking Man. I was just like, The Incredible Shrinking Sock. There's always sock puns coming out.
Okay. Coming this summer.
Asockalypse!
Oh no!